Hello and welcome back to Rule of Thumb. I thought I'd bring you along tonight. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to do a chuck roast in the Instant Pot. So I got what is about a 3.5 to 4 pound chuck roast here. I got my Instant Pot on saute right now. Put a little oil in the bottom of there, and I'm going to keep the seasonings really simple. I have some Lowry seasoning salt, so give us a good generous sprinkle of that. Beef needs salt and pepper. Then I get this Fox Point seasoning from Penzeys. It's got salt, shallots, chives, garlic, onion, and green peppercorns. So I thought this might be fun to try. Of course, seasonings never really come out of these lids as well as you'd like them to. So we're going to try it this way. Oh yeah, this looks interesting. So we'll get some of this on there. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and get this right down in the Instant Pot and let this start to sear. We got a good sizzle on there, which is what we want. I looked at a couple different things online about it, and basically they said let it sear 4 to 5 minutes on each side, and then go ahead and get it under pressure. It says it's going to take anywhere between 60 and 80 minutes. A lot of the recipes called for you to put raw potatoes and carrots and all that kind of stuff in there. I'm getting the last of the seasoning out of here, by the way. I have home canned carrots, I have home canned potatoes. So what I'm going to do is cook this till it's just about done. I'm going to add some more seasoning on the other side. And then when it's just about done, I'll bring it off of pressure. I'll add the carrots and potatoes and probably some mushrooms in there, and maybe just put it back on for 5 minutes just for those to heat through, and then I think we'll be good to go. So hopefully this is going to be a nice, simple, quick meal. I actually had the forethought to pull this roast out yesterday, which I don't always, plan that far in advance. And they say you can cook this from frozen in here. Anytime you cook meat from frozen, you're risking it seizing up and getting tough. So I try to avoid that, even though they say the pressure will, take care of that. But, we're going to do it this way and see how it turns out. And then we can always experiment more down the line. So I got that first side. It's got some color on it, which is what we want. So we're going to finish searing this on all sides, and then we're going to cook it on high pressure. I think I'm going to do about 65 minutes, and then I'll take it down off of there, and I'll bring you back at that point. Okay, so we've got a good sear on all sides of this. Now we're going to need to add a little liquid in here, because anytime you're putting something under pressure in the pressure cooker, you want to have some moisture to go with it. I have my home canned mushroom stock. This is a pint. So we're just going to go ahead and go in with all of that, because if there's extra moisture in there, it's fine, because we're just going to go ahead and probably turn that into a gravy at the end anyway. So that's what we're going to run with. So now we're going to take it off of saute. We're going to get our lid on here. Get our lid secure, make sure it's in the seal position. We're going to go ahead and do pressure cook. We're going to do pressure level. We're going to change it to high pressure. We're going to change the time to 60 minutes, maybe 65 minutes. So 1 hour and 5 minutes, and we're going to let that go. And Hopefully at that point we'll be ready to add in the potatoes, carrots, and mushrooms. And we can take any of that liquid out, make a gravy, or we can take the roast out and make the gravy in the pot, and then add everything back in. So we'll see what it looks like when we get to that point, and then we'll make a decision from there. Our steam has released. Our little pressure valve in the back has went down. So there's still going to be steam in there. Always when you're opening this, open it away from you so that you don't get steam in your face or on your arms. So we're going to go ahead and take this off of here. I'm going to grab a bowl because I think what I'm going to do is take this out of here and turn the juices that are in there into gravy. Because, you know, roast is always good with a little gravy, right? So what we want to do is see, oh yeah, so this is tender enough that we'll be able to shred this up. You can see, but it's not like falling apart, which sometimes you want it falling apart, sometimes you don't. For me, I think this is going to be perfect this time. So we're going to go ahead and get this out of here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I would say, as long as there's some love in it, it's going to turn out just fine. So, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this out. I'm going to hit the saute button again just so it'll keep the pot hot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add, now what you could do is you could use some cornstarch and water, or a little cold water, make yourself a slurry, and add that in here, and that'll thicken this up. I have Wondra. It's Wondra quick mixing flour. So this is really good. It doesn't really clump up, and you can basically just kind of pour this in here and make yourself a gravy. So it'd probably take, I would say maybe 1/8 of a cup of this in here. Start out with that. Just get a whisk in here. Whisk it up good. And this will start to thicken up a little pretty quickly. Doesn't take too long. So, just pick up all the bits that are in there from the roast. Okay, looks like maybe we'll need a little bit more in there. But really, you're just, you know, it's going to depend on the amount of liquid that you have in there. Gravy is kind of a touchy thing because it really depends on what you're starting with, what thickening agent you're using, and how thick you want it. So I don't want to get too crazy about this because we're just going to use it to kind of enhance what's already good. So let's give this a little taste and see if we need some salt and pepper in here. It's perfect the way it is because it has all the seasonings in it from cooking the roast in there. It's absolutely spot on. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and cancel that because it's good and hot in here and everything's come together, the gravy's come together. I'm going to grab a couple forks and just pull this apart a little bit. Alright, so that's fine for me. Throw these in here. We're going to go ahead and get this right back in here. And what this does is that gravy's just going to keep that meat nice and tender and juicy so that when you eat it, it's going to be divine. Alright, so now, got all that back in there. I'm going to switch this out and set this bowl over here. Maybe back here. Alright, so I have a jar of my home canned potatoes, a jar of home canned mushrooms, in a jar of home canned carrots. These are all cooked already. All we're looking to do is warm these through. So, we're going to start with the potatoes. Just pop the, you can hear that seal. It's always a great sound. I'm going to drain these in the sink here a little bit because we don't need any of that starchy liquid with it. And then we're going to go ahead and get those right down in there. And now I typically don't use salt when I'm canning, or if I do, it's very little. So it's possible that I will need to add a little salt to this when I put the vegetables in there, but I'm guessing that it's going to be okay. So the mushrooms, I am going to leave the juice in there because it's mushroom broth. Yeah, it's just extra goodness. So now we've got everything in there. I'm going to grab our spatula here. Excuse my reach. And we're just going to come down in here, get all this stuff in here. And what I'm going to do is hit that saute button one more time just to bring that heat back up. I'm going to go ahead and just set my lid on there just so it's sitting there to keep the heat in. I'm going to let this go for about 5 minutes just to kind of heat everything through, and then I'll bring you back and we'll show you the finished product. Okay, we're back. So it has been about 5 minutes. This is definitely all heated through, and it looks amazing. So we're going to get some of this dished up here and see what we think. So we'll grab a bowl here. Could have been a little bit more prepared, but you know, happens to the best of us. Gonna grab my spoon. Alright. So we're gonna get a little bit of everything in here. We got some potatoes, carrots, mushrooms, good piece of the roast in here. Yeah, this is gonna be a good dinner, folks. Alright, so we got a dish here. Grab a little fork. We'll see if we can get us a YouTube bite here. A little potato, a little beef, a little carrot. It's on the money. I mean, this couldn't have been any easier. Basically, the Instant Pot did all the work with the roast. Everything else I already had canned in on the shelf. Cancel this out. Yeah, super happy with this. So, rule of thumb for this meal. Use what you have in the house. Anytime you're making a roast, it's very forgiving as far as what you want to put with it. You could use potatoes, you could use sweet potatoes, you could use carrots, you could use Brussels sprouts, you can use parsnips, rutabaga, green beans, corn. I mean, everything goes with a roast. This is the beauty of having a roast on hand. If you cook the roast, you can put anything with it, and you have a full meal. So, that's the rule of thumb for this meal. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for coming along with us. If you have questions, please leave them down below. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I hope you had a great day, and come back and see us soon.